Number 3, be a resource for your child's team. Does a teammate need help with transportation? Is the team trying to raise money for new uniforms? Is someone needed to organize a pizza party before the tournament starts? Maybe you can help. Number 4, try not to criticize the coach or the officials in front of your child. Hey, you're human, and there may be times when you need to vent, but be careful when and to whom you do it. Criticizing the coaching staff undermines its credibility and tends to put your child in the middle. And games are seldom won or lost because of an official's call. Remember, coaches and officials are objective. Most parents are not. Empower your child to talk with the coach about concerns. Everybody wants more playing time, and understandably so. But encourage your children to have that conversation with their coaches instead of you doing it for them. Giving teenagers the confidence and conviction to speak up for themselves is one of the greatest benefits of participating in high school sports. Number 6, focus on the life lessons your children are learning, not on win-loss records or how many points they're scoring. According to the NC2A, only about 2% of all high school athletes win a sports scholarship, and the average value of it is less than $11,000. But every child will benefit from the lessons they've learned as a result of participating in high school sports for the rest of their lives. It's difficult being the parent of a high school athlete. There's far more emotion and social pressure involved than is ideal. But if you follow these 6 pointers, not only will your children love and respect you, but so will their teammates and coaches. And you might even be named MVP. Thank you for your support of high school athletics in Indiana. Stay tuned now. The Indiana SRN game is next. Indiana SRN, where you're always in the game.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Guerin Catholic High School in Noblesville, Indiana, for tonight's girls soccer action between the Guerin Catholic Golden Eagles and the Cathedral Fighting Irish. Alongside Drake Wally, I'm Jonathan Mathis, and we're happy that you're joining us here on Golden Eagle TV, presented by Indiana SRN, for this near the end of the year matchup for these two teams. For Cathedral, it is the end of the year. They enter this matchup at 3-5-3 and currently ranked number 5 in Class 2A. Guerin Catholic enters at 6-1-1. That's 6 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw. And they are ranked number 6 in Class 3A, playing 1 class above Cathedral in this season is the Guerin Catholic Golden Eagles. Of late, Guerin Catholic has been on fire. They have not had a loss since week 2 against Carmel. And since then, they have 5 wins and 1 draw. That 1 draw came against potential sectional opponent Westfield. But in the most recent weeks, Guerin Catholic has been on fire. They played Avon, Heritage Christian, and Memorial. Avon and Memorial were both ranked in the top 10 this past week, and Guerin thumped them all, outscoring everybody by a combined 17-1 in those matchups. Cathedral enters a little shakier. They've had their most recent loss was against Bishop Dwenger, a very good team, number 2 in Class 2A, but since then they've had a couple draws against Brebeuf and Zionsville and then beat 3A number 18 Westfield on last Monday 1-0. Mark Behringer's girls are getting into shape for this sectional play. Their offense has been a little less prolific than what you would hope for, one would think. Guerin's offense has been on fire, and Drake Wally, it's pretty hard to outdo what Guerin has been doing. The last 4 games, Guerin has averaged nearly 5 goals per game, and there's very few teams that can click as well as Guerin has offensively.
Well, and you just it all goes back to the statistics. It's a game of numbers, and when you're averaging, at 3.25 goals a game, 25 goals in 8 games, a couple other things that might stand out to some people if they didn't know this, but they have outscored their opponents 13-0. Chittard 4-0, Roncalli 2-0, Heritage Christian 7-0. Guerin is absolutely on fire, and their only loss and draw came to Carmel and Westfield. And just a fun fact, Carmel is 12-0, and they've shut every single team out. So you talk about the real deal. Guerin Catholic is definitely the real deal.
So no shame in losing to Carmel, but something that really caught your eye, the defense for Guerin Catholic has been very robust of late.
Yeah, and you allow 3 goals in 8 games. You average 3.25. That's almost a 3-point margin. 7 shutouts in 8 games. Cathedral is going to have to be on top of their they're going to have to absolutely be on their A game offensively and defensively today.
Cathedral, they have some weapons too. If Caroline Klein has had a wonderful season, as has Bella Dossman, what do you think Cathedral needs to do to succeed against this Guerin Catholic side?
They're going to have to come out fast and hard. They're going to have to strike, because I think that Guerin Catholic's going to come out fast and hard just like they did against Memorial. It's going to be all on Cathedral to press this attack early on. They got to control that ball.
Let's take a peek at the starting lineups for this evening's matchup, starting with the visitors, the Cathedral Fighting Irish, entering at 3-5-3, and the number 5 team in Class 2A. In goal is a really good sophomore, number 1, Kate Phillips. Joined along the defensive front is number 5, Ellie Schnur, a senior and a freshman, number 20, Caroline Klein. Listed as midfielders, and this could be telling to Drake's point where Cathedral needs to dominate the midfield. There are 5 of them, number 13, Ella Lewis, a junior, number 18, Libby Lewis, a freshman, another junior, number 11, Lauren Caldwell, a junior, number 8, Ella Marr, and a senior captain, number 3, Bella Dousman. The forwards, all impressive, mostly seniors. The one freshman is number 21, Amya Usher, and the seniors, number 12, Sam Spellacy, and number 14, Caroline Klein, one of the 2 senior captains for Cathedral. For Guerin Catholic, it's a typical starting 11. In goal, number 1, Bailey Capella, a junior. The 2 center backs are 2 very good ones, number 3, Caroline Quinn, and number 4, Claire Sawyer, both seniors, both captains. The fullbacks on the left is number 13, Haley Abel, and on the right side, number 15, Shaylin Hussey. The defensive midfielders, number 18, Gentry Gerhardt. The 2 center mids, number 9, Ava Schlichty, and number 7, a captain, Evelyn Bestard. The wings are really where Guerin excels. Number 8, Quincy McMahon, has had a wonderful season, and number 19, Emerson Jennings, is a junior. Commit to Louisville. The forward is number 25, Katie Koger. The junior came off the bench against Memorial and is back in the starting lineup. And an admission we want to make here, just covering our bases. Last game, we had falsely reported that Emerson Jennings had scored twice in the last game. That was inaccurate. The actual 2-goal scorer was Haley Abel. So Haley Abel coming in off 2 goals, and I think that is pretty underscores this Guerin offense, where a fullback who's one of the back defenders scores twice. Mm-hmm. That's quite impressive.
Well, and it's not just it's not just Quincy McMahon. That's the thing is that's a name that stands out. A superstar is always going to stand out. But Jennings and Abel have shown that they can more than carry the load for the offense. So it just shows that you can be attacked from so many different ways. And that's the one thing about Cathedral that I think that they have done well is actually played some decent defense. It's just the offense hasn't always been there to complement it. So I think Cathedral just needs to play tougher defense, and we're going to see how many people are pressing that offensive attack for Guerin today.
Tonight's game time weather information. It's perfect. 73 degrees. It's going to drop off into the upper 60s. It's sunny. The wind is out of the southeast at 4 miles an hour, and there's nary a drop of rain in sight. The sun's going to go down in a little while. It's 7:41, so we're going to have some twilight, some sundown action. It's going to look gorgeous on your screen, and we're happy that you're joining us for this evening's matchup between Guerin Catholic and Cathedral. We're going to step away in a couple moments, but when we come back, we're going to have the opening kickoff between these two teams, very close together to the Catholic schools. These girls have played against each other for a long time, and they're going to get to here on Golden Eagle TV, presented by Indiana SRN. Guerin Catholic and Cathedral, two top almost 5 teams in their respective conferences. Coming up next here on Golden Eagle TV, presented by Indiana SRN.
There's no greater anti-poverty measure than to give a person a job. That helps them start to change that trajectory.
Morales Group is a full-service staffing company that provides temporary labor in the Indianapolis, Central Indiana market.
It was a challenge that was given by my father. He wanted me to give back much more than I had been. Then I realized that when he said more, he wanted me to see how I could give more. And it wasn't just in money, but in time and in services. And that's how the Morales Group was created.
I started off at Morales Group as an intern. I interned for 3 years before going on full-time staff here. What I love most about Morales Group is that big family aspect. I come from a big family in Mexico, and since the company is continuously growing, I feel like there's always a new member of the family that I get to know.
We're willing to give. We're willing to serve others, and we're not expecting something in return.
Come talk to us. We would love to work with you.
Welcome back, everybody, to Golden Eagle TV, presented by Indiana SRN. Fun matchup tonight, Guerin Catholic and Cathedral. A couple little cross-town, cross-diocesan rivals. Cathedral from Arch-Indy, Guerin Catholic, Diocese of Lafayette. All their players, a lot of CYO action playing against each other growing up. But on today's matchup, you have two teams, both in the top 10. Guerin Catholic's offense has been phenomenal of late. They had 2 games in a row where they outscored their opponents 7-0, and one of those was then number 10 Avon, and that result was so detrimental to Avon they dropped from 10 to 19 in the top 20. And you have to really be careful and cognizant of that Guerin offense because they can catch fire instantaneously.
Well, and they've shown they can take out even the biggest dogs in the fight. And there is something I do want to say about Cathedral is they've had 3 tough breaks with draws. North Central and Zionsville, both teams like we discussed before this broadcast. They're good teams. They were just 1 goal away from that being different. They also drew a draw against, had a draw against Brebeuf. So, really with 3 draws, it shows that the team was that close to 3 wins. And so I think that they have the talent. It's just been a little bit of an offensive struggle this year.
And Cathedral, their schedule is not for the faint of heart. There's a reason they're number 5 with only having 3 wins. Is everyone on their schedule except for 3 teams among their 11 games, only 3 of them were currently unranked in any of the class polls. And if you're going to play that as a two-way school, it's going to result in some tough results.
Well, and you got to kind of look at them with different, I guess through a different perspective because they've played just the toughest teams. And, Guerin has 2. But at the end of the day, 7 ranked 3A teams, 3 games is all that's been without ranked teams. That's about as tough as it gets. In Cathedral, they've definitely got all the heart in the world. It's just going to be a matter of how well can they execute offensively because I think that's going to be the big turning point is how well can Cathedral push that attack and kind of do what Memorial did early on Saturday, and that's keep the ball in front of Guerin's goal.
Will they be able to do it? What will Guerin be able to do? We'll find out momentarily. Drake Wally, a couple keys. Just illustrate that once more. What do you think Guerin needs to do? What's Cathedral need to do in this matchup?
Well, like I said, to go back to what we said early on, Cathedral's going to have to push the attack early on, and they're just simply going to have to score more often. And I think Guerin doesn't really need to do anything different. They did exactly what they needed to do on Saturday, and we're going to see how they push this offensive attack against Cathedral.
So Cathedral basically kicking off to Guerin Catholic, and now it'll be Guerin Catholic's first turn to see what they're able to do with their offense that has been on fire of late. Here on the near side is Abel, who is the 2-goal scorer last time out against Memorial, and she's going to – what you'll see a lot in this matchup if you've not been following Guerin Catholic soccer, girls soccer for much of the season, is a lot of transition from the defense pressing up to help in the offensive attack, and then the offensive players pushing back defensively. Speaking of which, Emerson Jennings working from that left side tries to set it up, and now will drop it back. This creates more space for Guerin to work. Gerhardt winds it up and shoots it over.
Well, went ahead and kind of took a pot shot there. Got a little bit too much strength on the kick, but you kind of got a sample of what they're going to do, and kind of what you said, Jonathan. They move that ball flawlessly and they shift that defense. It's only going to be a matter of time before a little bit of a space opens up.
So one real offensive possession for Guerin Catholic, one shot on goal. This pass from Phillips is intercepted. Bastard sends it to the far side. McMahon. This is where she's ever so dangerous, working from that right wing. She beats one of the defender, Maher, off the streak. Ip in front, dangerous play. Can Phillips get on it? Now it's batted away. Jennings tries to turn it around. No good. There might have been 3 shots in there, and Guerin Catholic couldn't find a hole in the Cathedral defense.
Well, that was great goalkeeping from Kate Phillips there. There was multiple chances, probably 3 or 4 different times Guerin should have sealed that off, and she did a great job of standing strong.
Earlier this season, she shared a quote on social media from the great Spaniard goalkeeper Icaris Casillas, and it said, "Most kids dream of scoring the perfect goal. I dream of stopping it," and that's exactly what she did on that juncture, and she's going to be under duress again. Here's Schlichty. Leaves it for McMahon. A couple players back, including Usher. This one will be skied high, and it's going to be a throw-in, one would assume, for Guerin Catholic.
Well, and we've seen exactly what Guerin's going to start doing here, John. They're pressing the attack early on, just like they did last time. And like you said, they're going to test Kate Phillips pretty much all the way through this one.
Yeah, she's already faced an unofficial 4 shots, and here's the referee's whistle. This is going to go for the Fighting Irish. So coming up all the way to do this will be Kate Phillips. This lets Cathedral get all their players in the offensive half. The sophomore sends it on. This got just by Speliacy now. Dangerous play for the Cathedral offense against that Guerin defense, but it's pushed out of play. It looks to be a throw-in for the Golden Eagles.
Well, and here we go. We're going to get Guerin is going to have to now traverse the ball all the way across the field. But so far, it's only been a couple minutes in, but they have had really unopposed possession of the ball the whole time.
Here's Hussey from the far side, cut off, and there's a little turnover at midfield. This one's plucked right back. Sam Speliacy was the intended target of that pass, but it ended up finding the foot of one of the great center backs for Guerin Catholic. They have 2 of them. Caroline Quinn was the reigning female athlete of the week at Guerin Catholic, and she didn't get a retainer title because Quincy McMahon scored 7 goals last week and took it from her.
Well, right there was Amia Usher actually doing a pretty good job of dribbling and keeping the ball away. Only a freshman, but we discussed that they're going to have to control the middle of that field, and the more that they have the ball, the better chance they have of scoring here. So let's see how long they can continue to keep that ball in their own half.
And Drake, here comes a great scoring opportunity for Cathedral off the first corner of this match. Trotting all the way over was Caroline Klein, one of the freshmen. There's a lot of youth on this Cathedral starting 11. That's quite promising, but they've got a tall task today. This would help if they can deliver on this first entry. Nice, but it's headed away for the moment. Now poked out by Guerin Catholic. Koger in a foot race with Libby Lewis. And Koger has McMahon wide open near side. Quincy, it's a one-on-one with the defender. Oh, and Cathedral got back well. The wind-up. Bastard pushed wide.
Well, and they've had a couple chances already, and as we've said, Kate Phillips is being tested early on. She's held strong thus far, but we saw very dangerous when Guerin is in full transition and they have even numbers. And you got McMahon on one side. It's just the recipe for disaster, but they held strong on that one.
And this is typical in soccer. We'll convert this into European style, but there's 2 types of offenses really, if you're going to boil it down. There's there's a counterattack, and then there's the more aggressive brand of football, and Guerin can do both. And you can see Bastard being able to put the pressure on. This pass just behind Koger, though, and Klein comes through to sweep it away.
Well, Bastard had a nice pass there, but Cathedral so far has not maybe had the possession time that they want, but they're holding strong, and they're keeping Guerin from having those good open shots.
We'll see what Schlichty's able to do. She works it into the box, sends it near side. McMahon there, centers it, but it's going to be rolled just away, and we'll see what Guerin's able to do. Will they play it in? They will. And it's going to be ping-ponged around.
Positive anything is better than negative nothing. Be a good sport. Indiana SRN promotes good sportsmanship.
We're seeing good sportsmanship so far here in the early going. A lot more shots from Guerin Catholic. Cathedral has yet to record one, but there was great defense displayed by Kate Phillips, the sophomore goalkeeper for Cathedral, who avoided catastrophe in the very early going of this match. If you get down 1 to Guerin in the first couple minutes, you can almost kiss your chances goodbye. But the great goalkeeping by Phillips has maintained this nothing, this 0-0 draw here in the first 7 minutes.
Well, and if you're Mark Behringer, you got to be very proud with how young your squad is and how tall they're standing to some of these very good schools, as we said in the pregame. And you got a sophomore goalkeeper. She's done pretty well thus far.
And here's a foul. This one will go against Bella Dousman, one of the captains.
It's not something you want to see with your captain, but at the same time, good aggressiveness. I mean, you got to play Guerin. You got to play Guerin at the same speed they play you, and that is very fast, so there's bound to be some physical contact.
That's a good point. You have to be able to actually win the ball at midfield, because if Guerin controls the midfield, then it's curtains.
Well, and then they can start to get the formations moving, and transition favors them. So I think that Cathedral, honestly, John, has played about as good as you can against Guerin this far, or from what we've seen thus far.
We'll see. In the early going, this one, it was Schlichty stumbling over the ball, and now everything paused for a moment as Maher turns it over. Schlichty thinking about that right side, and now she goes down, and the referee has been letting him play, but this foul will be called. I think it was L. Lewis with the referee marking the spot, and now Gentry Gerhardt, who has a cannon for a right leg. She scored a couple games ago in the Roncalli matchup for Guerin Catholic from 40 yards out. So Kate Phillips needs to be cognizant. This could be coming right at her. The ref's
he's got his back turned. She was ready to go.
The ref was making sure that wall was in place, proper distance. Nice entry. Missed the head on the near side. Phillips slightly out of position. This chipped over her and into the net. 1-0 Guerin Catholic. It didn't take even 9 minutes, but Guerin is on the board.
Well, and Kate Phillips, it was probably bound to happen. They were probably going to score at some point, but that was, they played good defense, but just a beautiful teardrop kick.
Goal, Guerin Catholic, number 25, Katie Koger.
Katie Koger does the honors, and Drake will look like this. Gerhardt setting it up. Missed the first head, and now Phillips slightly out of position. Koger's going to come in on the back end and drop it over.
Well, that's going to be Koger's second goal of the year.
Corner.
She's only a junior, so that's got to get you excited if you're Coach Yao.
There'll be a corner coming up for Cathedral. The Cathedral, if they're going to strike back, this is the perfect moment to do it with that corner from the far side. All the corners so far in this matchup have been in favor of Cathedral, all 2 of them.
A lot of 2 opportunities. Anytime you can get any sort of opportunity, get in front of Guerin's goal, that's a great place to be.
A little short near side. Can they turn around on it? No, Schlichty will pop it out. And this could be, Cathedral's got to be careful. This could be a breakout for Guerin. They recover well, the Irish do. Now, still a little helter-skelter between these two sides as 10 minutes has been eclipsed here in the first quarter, in the first half Guerin Catholic with that 1-0 lead at the moment, and Jennings out and running on the far side.
Well, that was a beautiful move. Just went right past her, flanking all the way to the left, and now they're in transition.
Koger had to range back to be able to collect that one as L. Lewis applied the pressure, the much-needed pressure. Gerhardt, who set up the Koger goal, feeds it to that far side. Here's Koger, trapped between two defenders. One, Elschner. Bastard fires. Easy save for Phillips.
Well, good. Not a bad attempt there, but something that's really worth noting is that Guerin is just everywhere. When it's on their side of the field, it is almost impossible for Cathedral to get that ball away from them, and they are just everywhere the passing lanes are.
Yeah, it's almost like from Cathedral's perspective, they have to be overly aggressive, more so than what you're anticipating. And that's the case for most teams who found themselves against Guerin, and Memorial did that. Avon did not, and it snowballed on them.
Well, and when you got a team that can strike this quickly, and as we mentioned, it's more than just McMahon. You got a lot of a lot of great scorers out there, great strikers. It's really tough.
Here's Jennings, one of them. She is won the co-second place with this girl, Haley Abel. Working into space. Number 13 leaves it inside. Koger scores again.
Boy, it's almost like the play stopped, and Koger looked at the ball, stood still, and then just kicked it in. It's almost like everybody thought the play was going to stop, but Koger took advantage of it. Second goal already, third on the year.
And the snowball, Cathedral's got to be careful here. Here's what it looked like, Drake.
Well, you got the transition here, and this part's coming up. There's a pass, and everyone just kind of stops, but Koger didn't quit, gets it right in the left corner there. You got to feel kind of bad for Phillips because I think that she was watching everyone else, but nonetheless, Cathedral's already down 2-0.
And Cathedral wasting no time on this restart, but it did seem like they almost thought Koger, was she offside? But she stayed onside, and now Guerin Catholic again. The Golden Eagles flying.
Oh, wow.
Here's McMahon with room. In front. Koger not there for the hat trick. But she's coming up from behind. And it's going to be a throw in, and that poor backpack.
Yeah. They just wanted to get that out of Dodge. What a beautiful pass. It was a nice through pass to McMahon, and she tried to get that cross and just a little bit too far in front, but wow, what great ball control thus far by Guerin Catholic. They are storming here to start out the game.
We're looking for a 750th subscriber on YouTube for a $50 gift card to Aspen Creek Grill and Fishers. Please subscribe today and never miss another game. And here's another shot smothered by Phillips.
If I hadn't already subscribed, I would try to be that 750th person.
Hey, you can beat Drake to it, but
yeah.
he's already done it, and that's a good way to stay in tune with what's going on. You can watch these games live on YouTube. You can watch them on delay. You can use them as Drake did for game prep. You can use them just to delight in what it is, being able to see some late fall Indiana high school athletics, or I guess fall hasn't technically started yet. Late summer.
Yeah, late summer athletics and.
Okay, so it's early fall.
There we go.
Producer Jerry Collins with the precise
with the update
info. You throw in for Cathedral, and now this is a lot of those. You're going to be looking to see the fight in the Fighting Irish, if what they're going to be able to do, continue to claw back in. And this ball won by Koger between a couple Cathedral players.
Oh, and here we go. They're on their side of the field again. This has been the story of the entire game thus far. Only 15 minutes in, but it's been all Guerin with the possession.
And Koger tried to chip this one in, but it was already out of play. A little miscommunication by Guerin Catholic. If you're just tuning in, you missed a couple things. Koger scored with about 31 minutes to go in the first half, and then did so again with about 28 and a half minutes to go in the first half.
Well, and it just goes back to what we were saying. you'd expect just on paper for one of those goals to be McMahon, but none of it is at all. It's been Koger and it's been McMahon that's been stretching that defense.
Our count 6-0 is the shots on goal. That doesn't, and it's even higher if you just count all the errant shots that have been. But Guerin Catholic, they have been peppering the goal. They've been challenging Kate Phillips. She's played well. She has 4 saves, but the problem is Guerin's taken 6 shots. Here's near side Usher. She's working on Abel. Up the pitch, no one able to make the run. Speliusy was there, but the 2 center backs, you see them right there framed, Quinn and Sawyer, they get overlooked in this Guerin team, but the 2 senior captains commanding the middle, and if you have 2 great center backs along with a good goalie, it's really hard to score against Guerin, and they've only allowed, as you point out earlier, they've only allowed 3 goals this year.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the goalkeeper, for, Guerin is just waiting. It's 6-0 as far as shots on goal, and that 6 isn't necessarily bad if you have returned maybe 5 or 6 yourself, but Cathedral just hasn't been able to generate that formation yet, or that run where they can actually get a shot on goal.
Here's Bastard. Leaves it far side to Jennings. Saved by Phillips. That's a pretty one.
Boy, Phillips has just been so busy. 7 shots on goal, 5 saves. Got to give her credit.
And that was Jennings taking on Riley Maher. Getting around her, getting that shot on, and again, the Cathedral, they're able to get the ball at the front of the Guerin Catholic defense, but not able to maintain possession. And leaves Gentry Gerhardt to chip this one on way ahead of Jennings, and Maher will be able to escort this one back to Phillips.
Well, and this is where Cathedral needs to do something. I mean, it's you're 20 minutes in, you're down 2-0. Got to try to generate some sort of offensive movement here and get the ball on the other side. Get the ball in your half of the field.
And yet, who is doing it is Jennings. Then there's Koger, the familiar foe. Koger became the 3rd Golden Eagle to have 3 goals this season, and the early goings of this one. And now Abel has it plucked away. She's one of the trio with 3.
Well, somebody that I've been taking kind of observing here is Amya Usher, just a freshman forward for Cathedral. She's probably had the ball more than anybody else, controlled it pretty well. For someone so young, she's doing quite a good job against a fantastic team.
That's going to be a foul on McMahon. Coming close to concluding the first quarter of this match, Drake. Well, what have you seen so far as we're coming closer to that 20-minute mark?
Well, what I've seen Cathedral, when they have the ball and when they have something going, it's actually pretty good. It's just they can't end with a shot on goal. What I've seen from Guerin is just utter dominance when it comes to possession.
Chipped in by McMahon. Koger couldn't find her foot. Jennings tries to set herself up. No.
Well, and even with a bad possession like that, just the time of possession has favored Guerin to the point where it's honestly kind of staggering. And this is where Cathedral's got to figure out a way to maybe get a lane, maybe get momentum going. Obviously not get off sides, but just a way to get the ball in their half of the field, because it's been pretty good when they do have the ball. They just can't end with anything.
Corner from Abel, sets it up, headed in! 3rd goal of the match. And I think you can see everybody mugging her. It's Caroline Quinn, the senior captain, 2nd goal of the year.
Well, and we haven't even said Quincy McMahon's name.
18th minute of play, goal. Guerin Catholic. Number 3.
If you see here,
Quinn,
very nice cross. Floats it up.
13, Haley Abel,
just rises above everybody else. Absolutely perfect.
And it is 3-0 Guerin Catholic, just like that. And there's still a lot of time left in this one. And You've touched on this. We'll have to touch on more. If you're Cathedral now, you're looking at 3-0 deficit. You need to be able to get something, just anything. Get a not only a shot, but be able to pressure, make Guerin have to play some defense. Here's a free kick for Lauren Caldwell and Cathedral.
Well, and it might seem a little bit weird to say this, but when you're down 3-0, or when you're down big, you can kind of play a little more loose almost in a way because you might want to take some more chances. And so, like right now, they're controlling the ball, doing a pretty good job. They just got to try to get a shot open.
Caldwell, this one from way out is off target.
Like
that
the
was
idea.
L. Lewis.
like the idea. That qualifies as the first shot on goal.
I think it's the first shot, Drake.
Or maybe the first shot.
Follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. You can get updated scores, game day schedule, some highlights, and much, much more. That's at IndianaSRN on Twitter. McMahon. Nice pass. Oh, and it tripped her up. You heard the ooze from the crowd as McMahon plays on. Lines it up. Pushed wide by Phillips.
Boy, just the accuracy, from that far away. It's very impressive. But one of the things I did want to mention is,
Corner.
3 goals in, you expect to say McMahon's name for one of those, and it has not been her. We've got 2 from Koger, 1 from Quinn. McMahon's really just been almost the dime dropper, if you will. She's controlling the ball, doing a great job of setting up her other team.
And she's in the middle of the box here on this one. Another nice entry pass. This one right in front. Turns it around and back to the net it goes. 4-0 Guerin Catholic.
Utter dominance here in the first half. And we mentioned that Cathedral would need to keep that ball in front of Guerin's goal. Guerin has literally done exactly what Cathedral needs to do, and they've capitalized on it.
In the 20th minute of play, goal.
Floats it up.
Catholic, number 7.
Doesn't get the header she wants. Goes around just a little bit and just tips it in.
This will be coach's decision.
The PA announcer. Coach, the assist belongs to, you picked that, Sean Yao. But it's 4-0. 2 by Koger, 1 by Quinn. Evie Bastard gets her 3rd of the year, becoming the 4th Golden Eagle with 3. And she's now traversing the field, trying to set up a teammate into the box. And this first half has been all Guerin Catholic. And now Usher looks to try to turn that around. Never mind, Caroline Quinn was there.
Well, right there, Usher, had the right idea, just supreme defense.
Inside Koger. And Klein will check it out of bounds, but that's going to be a goal kick, or a corner kick, coming up for Guerin Catholic.
Corner, Guerin Catholic.
So another corner. The last 2 have resulted in goals for Guerin.
They've set them up so well. Very precise. We'll see if they can get a 5th one here.
Right there, and Phillips punches it away. It's going to be another corner.
Well, Phillips has been busy. She's been the busiest person on the field. And, 4 goals allowed, but they've had quite a few attempts.
Substitutions for Guerin Catholic.
Those corners are killing
Coming on,
Cathedral.
Number 6, Cece Leffler. Number 12, Callie McGee. And number 22, Alyssa Ferry.
So Gerhardt will do the honors again. She is really excelled at this role of doing the corner kicks.
Only a sophomore. Excuse me, senior.
This one, another nice entry and punch tie by Phillips. Trying to bend it, and the referee's whistle will be pointed in favor of Cathedral. So everybody will run back from one end to the other one. We're inside 17 minutes to play first half. Kate Phillips, who has had a really good season, sophomore goalkeeper. She's looked very promising here too, but she has been under bombardment this entire match, and Guerin has found 4 shots to get to behind her into the net.
Yeah, it's just been a storm of shots, and it hasn't equaled out for Cathedral's offense.
There you go. Usher winning the ball at midfield. She's got players on either wing.
Nice pass.
Here's Lewis. Inside for Spelliacy, but that one is sent away by Guerin Catholic.
Well, that was a nice through pass. Very accurate. Just couldn't get anything going.
And the Golden Eagles in transition once again. McMahon chips it off the bar.
Well, that time Phillips didn't even have to do anything. Good attempt, though.
Yeah, that cage, that is the goalkeeper's best friend.
It's probably not very often that McMahon eyes a shot like that and doesn't get it.
Coming on.
Could have been the 5th goal.
Morgan
Nonetheless, we're here for nothing.
Number 17, Lauren Frank. Number 7, Avery Rowe.
Yeah, a lot of subs.
Number 2, Gracie Jarrett. Number 22, Karsten Ward. And number 19, Eliza Langfelt.
Ward, you heard her. She was the second to last one named. She scored twice this year. You can see her number 22, middle of your screen in white. Boy, do they need her. There's some pretty good freshmen on this Cathedral Fighting Irish team. Ward has been one of the more prolific.
It's just a raw team facing a very experienced and fierce offense, and you got to give Cathedral a lot of credit. Playing tall, play such a tough schedule for such a young team to play such a hard schedule. Got to be excited for what they're going to bring in the next couple of years, though.
Yeah, it really should prepare them quite well for sectional. Sectional 27 for Cathedral, the Batesville sectional. Because why not?
That's right. That's right.
Beech Grove, Greensburg, Batesville, Heron. Beech Grove and Greensburg entered tonight at 500. Cathedral, though, the only ranked team. And out and running, Schlichty. Wing, McMahon, tripped up for the moment by Schnurr. And then coming up through and cleaning it out was Avery Rowe. Our upcoming web stream schedule here on Indiana SRN. Tomorrow, the Golden Eagles are in action at Covenant Christian in volleyball. That's at 7 p.m. on Thursday. Heritage Christian at Bishop Chatard, also volleyball at 7. And then football coming up on Indiana SRN, the webcasts on Friday night. You have number 5, Covenant Christian, taking on number 2, Heritage Christian. That's a huge game. That's at 7 o'clock. Bloomington South visits Southport at 7:30. And then on Saturday, Traders Point at Horizon Christian, I believe. That's at noon.
That Covenant Christian, Heritage Christian, it's going to be a great game.
And that's something you can look forward to. You can find all this information, broadcast schedule-wise and other fun stuff, on Twitter at Indiana SRN. And you could also watch those matchups on the Indiana SRN app or go to our YouTube page, click subscribe, click the little bell. You'll get all your alerts.
Well, you know why people really subscribe to Indiana SRN. It's to hear the amazing broadcasting.
Like Drake Wally. You can also get that Aspen Creek Grill.
That's right. That's right.
And we'll keep you engaged. Well fed if you're number 750. And here's McMahon looking for number 11.
He's playing that right side so well today.
Oh, she had to check up on that shot. She wanted to go with the left. Had to back it down for the moment. Gracie Jarrett ranges all the way back to be able to collect it. But then Gerhardt from forever. And that's wide.
Some of those deep shots, why not? You're up 4-0. You can take some extra chances. For Cathedral, they had one attempt, a little bit too far out, and Guerin has just done such a fantastic job of keeping anybody from even getting close to the goal. And, they're going to have to do something different here. This is about the most that they've done is kick the ball out from their own goal.
And we've seen Guerin Catholic last week, they've done this to teams where the Golden Eagles, and the boys team is like this too. It's when they sense blood in the water, they go for it. And this is what happened to Avon, it happened to Heritage Christian. Guerin gets that first one early, and then they start to feel like, hey, we could get a lot more of these. And then All of a sudden you look up at the scoreboard, 4-0 with 11 minutes 40 seconds to play in the first half.
Well, they've done it in a half-hour time. They've essentially every 7 minutes there's a goal. That kind of pace is insane. And so, Cathedral's going to have to figure out a way, even if they just get one goal, that is a huge confidence boost. Being down 4-1 as opposed to 4-0, it doesn't sound like much of a difference, but for Cathedral it would be a heck of a start if they could just get one in the net.
Oh, 100%. You're then, now your players are believing, hey, we got one. Well, why not? Because if you look at 4, that's really daunting.
Yes.
4 is really, really daunting.
That's
and
a lot
here
of
is
goals.
Caitlin Freeze. This will be a throw-in for Cathedral, but when you start making that number smaller, you start scoring yourself, then you're like, okay, we got one. Maybe we can get 2.
It's amazing what a little bit of confidence will do, and right now Guerin is giving Cathedral no chances to have that.
And you see smart football played by Guerin Catholic. Play it back to Capella, let things calm, and then try it again. Here comes Abel.
I like how they're not afraid to reset. They're not afraid to stop and say, okay, this isn't working.
It's a sign of a very mature team, and you see a younger unit for Guerin Catholic, quote unquote younger. A lot of juniors on the pitch right now. But when the pass the ball back to the goalie or pass the ball back to one of your defenders, it's always a lot of teams, you just want to go. But if you're able to let things calm for a moment and pouncing on it's L. Lewis. Can someone be there? It's Haley Abel.
Those are the kind of plays I've been talking about that Cathedral has had. They've had the through passes that just don't have a receiver to get them and to kick the ball and capitalize on it.
Big goal kick coming up for Guerin Catholic inside 10 minutes to play.
Do you know Indiana SRN streams more than 300 games a year that reach millions? If you would like to help us put kids first by advertising on Indiana SRN, you can contact us at coach@indianasrn.org. One more time, that's coach@indianasrn.org.
Especially, there's no X in that. With Sectional 10 coming up, if you'd like to be able to help put some of those games on there, Sectional 10 for Guerin Catholic is loaded. There are 5 top 20 teams in Sectional 10, including number 2 Carmel, number 12 Zionsville, 15 North Central, 18 Westfield, and number 6 Guerin Catholic. If you'd like to help make those games happen, same email, coach@indianasrn, or go bug Ryan Davis, the athletic director for Guerin Catholic. He's working the Twitter, soaking in this one. CC Leffler gets it back, nice give and go, winds it up, scores!
Wow. Cranks it up, just perfect kick. Set it up very nicely, right in the middle. The dagger, 5-0 here. If anybody was wondering, for some reason, if Guerin would come out starting quick,
In the 31st minute of
well, they already have.
Goal, Guerin Catholic. Number 6, CC
Check this out.
Leffler, her first of the season. Assisted by number 5.
And once again, it's not.
her second of the season.
It's great to see how many different angles they can attack you from. It's not just McMahon. We've had 4 different people now put a goal in the net, or put the ball in the net, and that's just got to get you so excited.
CC Leffler, one of the younger players in this team for Guerin Catholic, she becomes the 12th different goal scorer for Guerin on the season, which is a staggering stat to comprehend for soccer.
4th, correct me if I'm wrong, that's the 4th. No, that is the 4th different goal scorer today. Out of 5 goals, we've got the leader is Katie Koger.
Number 23, Lauren Gardner.
McMahon has not even had to do anything, though, as far as scoring.
No, she's been setting up her teammates, and they've been knocking it down. But, yeah, 12 – there's only 20 players on the roster, and 12 of them have scored, and 2 of those 20 are goalies, so they're not going to do it. But that's 12 out of 18 field players have scored, and then of those 18 – Caroline Quinn, who had now scored twice, and Sawyer are so rarely involved in the offense because they're so busy playing important defensive duties. But the goal scoring for Guerin Catholic here with under 7.5 to go. It began in the 9th minute with Katie Koger. Then she scored again in the 12th. Caroline Quinn in the 19th. Evie Bastard in the 21st. And then the most recent was CC Leffler in the 32nd.
And here we go, right back to the goalie. Smart. They're just going to reset everything right here, up 5-0, looking to go up 6.
Maintaining possession, making Cathedral have to work for it. Now Abel likes to initiate the offense from that near side. Here's Lily Snyder.
That was a nice pass.
A long run to receive it, too. Let's see with the slight difference between when Guerin has effectively their second team and the spacing between them is not as precise as the starters, but the starters have done their work getting 4 of the 5, and then Leffler on that wonderful give and go, getting the 5th.
There's even with the starters predominantly out, still moving the ball very well, very accurate passing, spacing out the field. It's really hard for the Cathedral to interrupt any of the lanes because they're so far away from each other.
Yeah, you can see this team, well coached by Sean Yao in his first year of Indiana High School Soccer as a head coach. He's been very involved in coaching, though. He's at Hoosier FC. A lot of these girls played in that, or most of the ones here have played in club soccer, but Sean Yao was very influential there. And then he was an assistant at Guerin, but being 6-1-1 with your only loss coming to Carmel and the one draw coming to Westfield, and both of those were early in the season. He's got this team. You can see they're well disciplined and they're firing on all cylinders at this juncture.
For your first year coaching, I guess that's pretty good, right?
It's not bad. Here's McKeever. Now Leffler. She's already got 1. Feeds it far side. That is not able to be contained by Freeze. Caitlin Freeze was one of the players on the current Guerin roster, one of the 6 players who played on the 2017 state runner-up team for Guerin Catholic. That team featured the only 2 current starters who started on that team was Bastard and McMahon. They were freshmen, and McMahon was the points leader as a freshman. Her career has skyrocketed since then before coming back from Colorado to finish up her senior campaign where it started. She had 11 goals in her freshman year, 10 so far this her senior year.
That's where the expectations for you to lead your team as a freshman in any sport, really, but especially soccer, that just puts the ceiling so high for what you're going to do, and she's shown that she can just continue to increase that ceiling of potential.
Working out to that far side of the pitch, McKeever. It'll be a throw-in for Guerin Catholic with 4 minutes to play here in the first.
This has been really where they've put, I think, the most pressure on Cathedral is with these, really with, it wasn't a corner, but regardless, with the cross passes, corner kicks, they've just set them up so well and been able to capitalize pretty much every time.
Phillips will sky this one onto the boot of Abel. Marked by Jarrett. Haley will send it back towards the middle, where Callie McGee will distribute. She was another one of the current senior class who played her freshman year on the state runner-up team. But yeah, you have that not only, sometimes if you look at team histories, especially in high school, Drake, it gets a little overrated when you're like, oh, well, this team has been to state this many zillion times. But if you haven't done it recently and don't have the lived memory, it's kind of hard. But you have the lived memory of what it takes to play for state on this Guerin Catholic team. Same for Cathedral, who last won state in 2018. There's a lot of players in this Cathedral team who played on that team. Including Caroline Klein, who started, but you have 2 very experienced teams. But you can Guerin Catholic is just playing on a whole nother level from everyone they played basically since September began.
Well, and with that 2018 championship team with Cathedral, you have players they probably didn't have as many young underclassmen. when they did win. But you have that championship mentality that's going to help those younger players, next year and the following years. They're going to understand what it means to play with a winner. A little bit young, but they got a good future, I think, ahead of them. And I've been very impressed, especially with Kate Phillips, just a sophomore. She's taken a little bit of a beating with all of those shots on goal, but nonetheless doing a great job.
Oh, great pass by Dousman, but Abel is able to pluck it away from Jarrett.
There's that defense from Guerin, always on it.
And you were talking about that in the pregame, the defense for Guerin. If you look at, it's easy. You look at the scoreboard, you see the most impressive number is the 5, but the 0, and Guerin's pitched all but 2 shutouts this season.
Well, and like you think about the 5-0 and all of these shots Guerin's been able to put up, that's been in direct correlation of their defense keeping any possession away from Cathedral. So I think it's all relative in soccer, and I think that you got to really tip the hat to Guerin's defense in this one thus far.
Yeah, officially shots on goal is 10-0 in favor of Guerin Catholic, and they're looking for an 11th with McKeever.
Big number.
Trying to work on Lauren Frank. Frank not giving an inch. Now the final minute. Another shot. This one off target.
Well, even with 30 seconds left, still aggressive. Guerin looking to bury.
Coming up at halftime, we'll take a little breather, but we'll recap what we've seen here in this first half of play. An impressive performance by Guerin Catholic, an impressive performance by Kate Phillips in goal. And you look at that 5, but the shot she's faced dwarfs the number she's allowed. But Cathedral, 10 seconds. Can they make something happen?
9, 8.
That looks like 7, a no.
6, 5, 4.
It's going to end with Snyder passing to the outside, 1. And with triple zeros on the scoreboard, Guerin Catholic takes a 5-0 lead going in to halftime. Drake Wally. The scoring for Guerin Catholic went like this. In the 9th minute, Katie Koger. Then second verse, same as the first. Koger again in the 12th. Caroline Quinn gets her second goal of the year in the 19th. Evie Bestard scored her 3rd in the 21st. And then CC Leffler got her first goal of the year in the 32nd. Leffler became the 12th different player to score for Guerin Catholic this season. And now you have this 5-0 lead on that scoreboard. It's everything that if you're Cathedral, you're looking at your game plan, the worst case scenario happened in that first half.
Well, there was no possession. That's what we talked about. Guerin would come out attacking. They did. They came out, took possession. They played better defense. Cathedral's going to have to figure out some sort of way to be able to more accurately pass the ball, get the ball through the lanes, get some through passes on the on the wings, maybe on the run. It's going to be really tough, but just got to try to get some points on the board. 5-0 is a steep hill to climb.
So coming up at halftime, we're going to take a little breather, but when we come back, we'll look at some of the goals from the first half and get you set for the second half. But Guerin Catholic in complete command at the moment, leading 5-0 going into the halftime break on Golden Eagle TV, presented by Indiana SRN.
In this seat, the pressure is high. And for this season, this is your seat. The National Federation of State High School Associations would like to thank you for supporting your child in learning positive, lifelong lessons by participating in interscholastic activities. As a parent, there are many feelings and emotions that you will experience during your student's participation in interscholastic activities. While watching your student participate, you can experience the entire emotional spectrum, from sheer joy to utter disappointment. At the same time, for students who are motivated to be part of a team, it can be an enjoyable and rewarding experience for everyone. Sitting in the parent seat requires thought and discipline. It is not an easy seat. The parent seat is a place where you and your student want to create enjoyable memories, not experiences filled with inappropriate language or unsporting behavior. The one who suffers most from these experiences is your child. Negative parent behaviors can be embarrassing to your student and damaging to your relationship as their biggest fan. This is the last thing you want. Here are 10 suggestions to help you with the emotions that arise in the parent seat. 1. Develop an awareness. Recognizing that you may be part of the problem in the stands is the first step to addressing it. This in itself can be challenging, as typically you are the last one to know if you are part of the problem. 2. Understand the benefits. Recognize the benefits that participation in interscholastic activities provides your student. Interscholastic activities provide a platform that promotes fitness, the opportunity to be part of a team and community, can improve your students' confidence, and provides an opportunity to learn new skills and improve current skills. 3. Embrace the growth and development of your student. By participating in activities, your student will have many opportunities to learn life lessons that will help him or her as they transition into adulthood. Taking a hands-off approach at times can be difficult for parents, but also rewarding for both the student and the parent. It can allow the student to gain confidence and independence to deal with their own obstacles. And many times, this independence can be one of the most important challenges to strengthening trust in your relationship. Knowing that your student is struggling can bring some comfort because it is evidence that your student is on a path to adulthood. 4. Visualize yourself as a respectful spectator. Many studies indicate that the number one reason kids participate in sports and activities is to have fun. Please keep that top of mind and in perspective throughout the school year. Emphasize to your student that they should enjoy the experience and, above all, have fun. Understanding and communicating this perspective can provide balance and support when it is needed the most and ensure a fun and enjoyable interscholastic experience for your child. 5. Consider exercising before the event. Exercising doesn't necessarily mean a 60-minute workout. A short walk, deep breathing, or a few stretching exercises may be helpful to relieve stress. It is also a proven fact that exercise can release endorphins that help you deal with stress. 6. Participate in a relaxing activity. Find something that you enjoy doing, such as reading a book or listening to music before the event. Relaxing before a game, competition, or other event may help provide a positive state of mind as you prepare to watch your child participate in their activity. 7. Take a break. If your emotions begin to escalate while in the stands, a brief timeout may help you reset your emotions. It could be as simple as taking a restroom break, a trip to the concession stand, or a short walk. 8. The 24-hour rule. If you ever feel compelled to confront a coach, take some time to collect your thoughts and allow your emotions to settle before you do. If after 24 hours you still feel compelled to address an issue, call and schedule an appointment. 9. Be responsible. Be responsible in your decision making. You are a role model, and it is important to understand that not only is your child watching you, but so are other participating students. Be aware and set a good example for all of the young people in attendance. 10. Support your student. There are a lot of ways to let your student know that you are a supportive parent. Tell them that you love watching them participate, or how proud you are of the sacrifices they make to be part of a team. Once again, focus on the fun. Be a good listener when your student needs you. Supporting them and understanding their feelings, hopes, and dreams can help you build on your trusting and loving relationship. Be aware that you will experience many emotions while sitting in the parent seat. Realizing there are challenges that come with the territory is an important step in supporting your students' participation in interscholastic activities. Students learn so much from their experiences that only activities can uniquely provide. You want your student to enjoy being part of a team and community without having to worry about what you may say or do in the stands. When your student looks back on their high school experience, what do you want them to remember? The experience should be enjoyable for you, beneficial for your student, and hopefully provides an opportunity to build a closer bond with your child. That opportunity begins now in the parent seat.
Welcome back, everybody. Halftime here at Guerin Catholic High School. It has been emphatic in favor of the home team. Guerin Catholic leads 5-0 at the break. Looking at the scoring recap thus far, Katie Koger has had a wonderful game. She is the second Golden Eagle in a row to record and hold on, let me correct that. This is the fourth game in a row that Guerin Catholic has seen one of their players scored double-digit goals. By double-digit, I mean more than one. Koger scored in the 9th. She scored in the 12th. Then Caroline Quinn in the 19th. The 21st minute saw Evie Bestard score, and then Cece Leffler scored in the 32nd minute. Last game, it was Haley Abel who scored 2 goals against Memorial, and then Quincy McMahon scored 4 against Heritage Christian and 3 against Avon. Elsewhere in the state of note, and this is relevant for Sectional 10 action, Zionsville is beating Brebeuf Jesuit 1-0, and then at halftime in the game of the state at the moment, number 2 Carmel is playing number 1 Noblesville, and it is scoreless at halftime. So we'll keep you up to date on especially that Carmel game. But this first half was very impressive performance by Guerin Catholic. A lot of girls getting involved, and we saw Quincy McMahon being more of a distributor, helping out her teammates. And then, boy, Drake Wally, did those teammates ever come through?
Well, and you got to love the fact that she hasn't even scored a single goal. It's been 4 different players, and multiple ways to score. And they've had an amazing smothering defense that's given them all those opportunities. So you got to love everything all around of what Guerin's doing in this first half.
And a couple of milestones. The second goal for this for Katie Koger in the first half gave her 11 for her career. That's pretty fancy. Caroline Quinn's second goal of the year. Bestard, her third, and that's a big one for Evie, who's one of the main leaders of this team, captain. Getting 3 goals her senior campaign. She's typically more in a distribution role, but now she has 5 career goals at Guerin Catholic. And then the youngster, Cece Leffler, gets her second goal of her career off of her first goal in this match. And Guerin Catholic 5-0. It's been dominant to say the least. If you're a Cathedral, you still got 40 minutes to play. You need to be able to dig deep and just. There's a lot of championship metal on this Fighting Irish club. They have a postseason that is very much up for grabs for them in Class 2A. Mm-hmm. They have a lot to play for here in the second half.
Well, and this is going to prepare them. They're playing one of the best in the daggone state, and I think that with the youth, I think that it's got to really impress you. I think that they might want to take a page out of Guerin's book. For those of you that didn't know or that didn't hear the first half, Guerin played incredible defense, allowing so many opportunities to have the ball. Unfortunately, Cathedral hasn't played the same amount of defense. So we're going to see if some adjustments were made and if they can turn this around a little bit.
And so we'll keep you abreast of what's going on elsewhere in not only Class 3A but in Sectional 10 as this game continues. And we now head to that second half, and Guerin once again looking very swift, very aggressive on offense. Here's a shot from distance, or at least a deep pass, saved by Kate Phillips, who that's her first test of the second half, and did she play a great first half?
Yeah, she really did. The 5 goals might not make you think that just looking at the score, but if you knew how many times they've taken shots, you'd be a little more impressed with her performance.
Another turnover at midfield. This Guerin Catholic team, we talked about Cathedral. Cathedral this is their final game of the regular season. Guerin's got several more to play. They go to Brebeuf on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, they play their final home game of the year against Covenant Christian. Those will be their final 2, that Brebeuf and Covenant Christian game. Final 2 conference matchups of the season, and Guerin wins both. Here's Schlichty. They will be undefeated conference champions in the Circle City. Guerin Catholic will then go on the road for their final 3 games on Saturday. And this one, skies over Phillips. Kicked easily out of play, but they'll go up north and play South Bend, St. Joseph, and Penn on Saturday before wrapping up the trip to Fishers next Thursday, October 1st, which hard to believe October's already here.
No, that's wild.
But yeah, Guerin Catholic still has 5 more games to play after this one, so no rest yet. And here's Jennings.
Speaking of no rest, they came out in the second half and said, who cares about a 5-0 lead? That's not enough. They are aggressive as they were, maybe even more so than they were in the first half.
And that's we touched on that. A trait for both Guerin Catholic soccer teams, boys and girls, they do not care about the score. They're going to go regardless. So that works if they're down. That works if they're up. They're going to try to put the pedal down as much as possible.
When you got a constant motor like that, it serves you, I think, even more when you are mounting a lead because you're just breaking the other team that you're taking that lead on, and you don't even let up.
Vukovic is able to get it out. But found the boot of Claire Sawyer. Now Abel back to Sawyer. Just creating some space now, trying to reverse the pitch. A little in front of Bastard.
He kicks it right back to Guerin.
And right back to Sawyer. And then you see you need to be seeing more of those runs from Cathedral. But Guerin Catholic looks much fresher. Here's Jennings.
You saw Langfeld almost get the ball.
Nice
there.
move. The left. No one on that far post. It was just ahead.
Boy, that was well, he just thought that one was definitely going to be the 6th point of the game. Just a little bit too much to the right, but I'd say that was a good attempt.
Check out our YouTube channel to watch more than 700 archived games. Subscribe today, Indiana SRN. We thank you for doing so. You can watch live games. You can watch replays. You cannot watch future games. That's really tough.
That would be. I'm actually kind of glad that that's not the case because then it's like, what's even the point?
It'd be like Back to the Future 2 when Biff gets the almanac from the far distant year of 2016.
That's right.
Or it wasn't 2016, 2015.
That 2015 is the future though. So
it was. But man, you would crush it. You'd crush it with knowing these results if that was the case. Here's Koger.
Boy, she has been lights out in this one.
It took her a moment to corral that ball, but then you could see the pace she runs with. Now trying to create some room, maybe set up one of her teammates. Drops it back to Bastard. Avery Rowe is able to pluck it away from her. 7-on-7 crime at that moment. Sawyer will just sweep it away.
It's a great job of being aggressive, and if you look out there, Gracie Jarrett is running around like mad, hustling, ready to try to get that ball and mount something for the Fighting Irish.
We'll see almost 5 minutes gone here. Second half. Nice entry. Oh, and Abel not able to finish it.
They've had a couple instances where it could have been the 6th point of the game. Guerin is starting in the second half right where they left off, taking complete control of possession of the ball and just suffocating Cathedral whenever they do have a momentary piece of that soccer ball.
So looking ahead for Guerin after the regular season concludes, their sectional is brutal. But as you can see, Guerin, what they've shown the last week really playing against 3 top 10 teams, including Cathedral. They might be up for this challenge, but they have the 7 teams in Sectional 10, which is hosted by Guerin Catholic, is obviously Guerin. Then number 2, Carmel, who is still in a 0-0 tie with Noblesville. We'll update you on that score. North Central, who is number 15 in Class 3A, they're 7-2-2 out off the side of the net. Pike is 500, 5-5-2. Westfield, number 18. Number 12, Zionsville. And then poor Arsenal Tech found their way into that. They're 0-6 and they're not going to do that well. But you have this really challenging sectional, and maybe that's where Cathedral, if you're playing this, or Guerin Catholic, if you're playing this well, you need to be able to keep playing through situations, because you're trying to prepare just like Cathedral is for sectional 27 coming up in a couple weeks.
Well, just hearing from what you've said about who they play, both of these schools just deal with the best that the state can throw at them, and they both, one has responded obviously a little bit better, but one's also more experienced, a little bit older, maybe has a little bit more senior leadership, and another one in a couple of years might be where Guerin's at right now. So they both they go into the playoffs basically very well conditioned, ready to go, playing tough competition. I think both of these teams are gonna do well.
Abel, pressure from behind by Langfeld, be a throw in. But speaking of the competition, Drake, you look at the top top 20 of Class 3A, and you can see there is a ton of Hamilton County up in the top of the standings. But I think it just speaks to volume of the talent that is in this area, and you can see that played out on the pitch, and you'll see that coming up in the postseason. But in 3A, this was released again today. It was number 1 Noblesville, number 2 Carmel, number 5 Hamilton Southeastern, Guerin's number 6. So 4 of the top 6 in the same area. This shot wide. And then Zionsville's 12, Fisher's 14. So the talent in this section of the state, just north of Indianapolis. Mm-hmm. You can look, Cathedral and Chittard are in the top 5 of Class 2A. Park Tudor and Indy is number 1 in 1A. But just the talent in the area, and that's a part of the club soccer, which all of them play, or most of them play. These players are just so well developed as footballers.
Yeah, and that kind of conditioning gets you ready for any sort of competition. It gets you ready for any sort of opponent. And I think it's worth a little more to say. In this instance, Cathedral's brutal schedule and all of these insane teams they faced at such a young age, I know I've hit it on the head a little bit, but when they are older and they're more experienced, they could be dangerous just from what they've had to deal with so young. And so, you got to like where both teams are at. Ooh.
Jennings misses high. Well, Cathedral has been dangerous as recently as 2018, their last state title. They've got 3 of them. Guerin hasn't won one yet, but this year it's going to be tough just to get out of the sectional. It's going to be tough. Carmel, Zionsville, North Central, Westfield.
That is just such an insane. It can't be said enough how difficult that sectional sounds. Just hearing 3 of the first 3 teams.
Yeah, and if you're Arsenal Tech, you're looking at that going, oh, man. 10 minutes played here, second half. No score change yet, but here's Eliza Langfeld before it's plucked away. That Guerin defense, they're playing to the final whistle too.
A little bit of frustration you could see there from Langfeld. Can't blame her. She had position, and as we've said, John, it's that defense. It doesn't matter where the ball is; they play it so well, and they just pilfer it from you. They get it right back. Momentum swings. This team's all about momentum, and they've had it all day.
Bastard from the middle.
That's good defense.
It was indeed, and here's the aggressive play again by Guerin on offense, trying to thread the needle before it's swept away.
Well, if they're able to somehow, some way keep Cathedral from netting one, that's going to put them at 8 shutouts.
Score update in the Carmel-Noblesville game, matchup between the 2 top teams in Class 3A in the state. Noblesville has scored
Wholesale substitutions for
in
Cathedral.
what would be
Coming on,
the
number
50th
14,
minute. 30 minutes to play in that one. Noblesville leads
Number
1-0 over Carmel.
Klein.
That's
First goal of the year against that Carmel
Number
defense.
11, Lauren
That is,
Caldwell.
when you're in your, I believe
12,
they're in their 13th
Samantha
game now. Like,
Spellacy.
you just now let up your first
Number
goal
8,
13
Ella
games in.
Maher.
I'd say, you know,
Number
you can say that's a
21,
pretty successful
Amaya
first
Usher.
13 games.
And number 18, Libby
Yeah, I think that would
Lewis.
probably be pretty fair.
Yeah. What a performance from Carmel. That's got to be a spectacle of a game right there, Noblesville versus Carmel.
.28.5 to play, maybe for Cathedral, but this one just outside the grasp of the defense. And this one's swept away, but not out of the woods yet.
A good defense. Finally got I think the first real opportunity to goal. 12 shots on goal as opposed to 1 just there, John.
Yeah, that's the first shot on goal.
Cathedral got their first opportunity, and it's, you know, nearly halfway through the second half. That is just impressive defense from Guerin.
Guerin Catholic looking for another shot on goal, and there's room, but this one is gobbled up. Upcoming web stream schedule here in Indiana SRN tomorrow. You can see some volleyball action. The Golden Eagles are one of those two teams. They're visiting Covenant Christian. That's at 7 p.m. on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Heritage Christian and Bishop Chatard volleyball. And then football on Friday. Number 5, Covenant Christian. Number 2, Heritage Christian at 7. Bloomington South visits Southport 7:30. It's been a rough year for the Southport Cardinal football team. This will be just their 3rd game. And then on Saturday, Traders Point and Horizon Christian. That's at noon. So we've got you covered for the rest of the week here on Indiana SRN. Guerin Catholic looking to cover another goal here. This one will ping pong and still be in play if it can be run down.
Well, for Guerin's volleyball team, fun fact, this will only be tomorrow, will only be their 5th game of the year. So, you know, the weird circumstances this year have affected some schools other than, you know, outside of others, but everyone's just excited to play.
This one will be sent on and able to try to run it down. But that Heritage Christian team, you've seen them, that volleyball team looking every bit the number 1.
Oh, yeah.
So you can see them on Thursday. And here in Indiana SRN, our old tagline was "You're always in the game," and we have lots of games: girls soccer, boys soccer, volleyball, football,
everything.
This fall season, we got you covered. And Koger is covered by 2 defenders. She tries to set up Schlichty, who is one of the few offensive starters to not score in this one yet.
Oh, wow.
Abel, Jennings. That's not going to have a chance.
I think she thought somebody was going to be over there on that right side. You know, you're up 5-0, 25 minutes left. You can afford to, you know, have a bugaboo like that.
Nice pass on the give and go. Guerin Catholic still applying the pressure. McMahon. She loves that cross goal
that
pass.
Was a nice pass.
She excels at that one. She scored on at a similar angle earlier this year. Take it in baseline and then just glance it in.
Well, and her passing has allowed.
Careful.
Allowed her to really throw Cathedral off because, you know, coming into this, I expected her to score relentlessly, and it's been completely the opposite. She has been the assist man, the dime dropper, if you will. She's really gone in there and set up her teams, John, her teammates, to the point where you got 4 different scorers, and not one of them is McMahon.
One fed on. Chance for Usher? No, not yet.
Ooh.
Coming up was Riley Maher, and here's McMahon again.
Oh, wow.
Soaring through, setting up her teammate. A third for Koger. No! Aggressive play by Phillips denies the hat trick.
How did he miss it?
But a great job by McMahon giving Koger the opportunity. That would have been tough, and Phillips, she practices that, coming out of the goal, attacking the offensive player, snuffing out the shots, and this will be a foul. And pulling out for the card, our first yellow will go against Gentry Gerhardt.
It was pretty aggressive, but, I mean, let's give I think that the credit should definitely go to Kate Phillips on that one. She essentially threw herself on top of the ball
smothered it
to avoid a 6th goal or the 3rd one from Koger.
Coming on, number 12.
And it can't be said enough. Kate Phillips has been on it. I know it's 5-0, but she has dealt with a lot of attempts on the goal.
She's been under pressure this entire time.
Literally from the start. So
I don't know if it's just overall shots have been somewhere in the low 20s for Guerin. Shots on goal, I believe we're at a dozen or so.
12, 13, and then another 13. Player is Anya Usher, only a freshman. I think that she's had great control when she's had opportunities with the ball. She's got to get some other players involved.
And you see Koger, the forward, all the way back trying to apply pressure on L. Lewis. Oh, and Anna with a great burst of speed.
Oh, there you go.
That was Hussey trying to turn this field around, and Guerin's not done. Bastard has Koger to her left, and sweeping it in was the center back. But it finds Schlichty. Ava to the far side. Jennings turns the corner.
Ooh.
Takes a dive. That's in the box. If that's a foul on Cathedral, we'll see what the ruling is. It could be a penalty kick for Guerin.
Penalty kick.
Something
it is.
There's something that I don't know if we've really mentioned it, but the one-on-one, the duels, Guerin's winning them all. That's something else that I think that they're doing so well is when it does become a one-on-one situation, whether it's offensive or defensive, whether they have the ball or not, they get what they want. I mean, their players are playing so well.
And it will be McMahon with the penalty kick. This will be a daunting situation. Can Phillips get the stop? McMahon has scored 10 times this year. Quincy. 6-0.
Now we can say she scored a goal.
McMahon on the penalty kick.
Goal, Guerin Catholic. Number 8, Quincy McMahon. Her 11th.
Makes it 6-0, and that's number 11, as you heard the PA announcer read off on the fantastic season. Here it is again. And Phillips guessed right. McMahon just that much better.
Yeah, she got it really high up in the goal, or right, really high up in the net, just outside of Phillips's reach. But give Phillips credit; she's doing what she can, and Cathedral really, as a team, is doing what they can.
That was perfectly placed by McMahon. Usher. That's an easy one for Olivia Labus to just let it roll away, get the goal kick.
I mean, Olivia Labus, she's been able to, she's done her job, done well, but she hasn't really, that supreme control of the ball has warranted her to not really have to do a whole lot in this game, as opposed to her opponent. Kate Phillips has had to essentially throw herself on the ball literally to keep from allowing a goal.
Able to go near side. Able under duress from Usher.
Nice pass.
And this one stabbed away by Riley Maher. Caroline Klein, maybe. There's 3 Golden Eagles there. She chips it on, and Labus. That's an easy ground ball for the goalie.
Ooh. Getting a little physical out there now here in the late part of the game.
See, the card stays in the referee's pocket, and it's a good ruling by my estimation, but it's going to be a free kick for Cathedral. And all the way up was Phillips. And then Olaying everything was Ella Maher.
Well, in this part of the game, if you're Cathedral, you're anything's open, anything's on the table, and if you're Guerin, I mean, all you got to do is pretty much just continue with business as usual. They have just dominated control of this ball.
This will be another throw in coming up for Guerin Catholic. 6-0. Again, the scoring thus far in the 9th minute was Katie Koger. Then she did it again 3 minutes later in the 12th. Caroline Klin in the 19th. Evie Bastard in the 21st. Cece Leffler in the 32nd. And then Quincy McMahon on the penalty. 6-0. Indiana SRN is very excited to be part of the success of Guerin Catholic. As we prepare for the upcoming school year, upcoming seasons, we humbly ask you to consider supporting us. Every donation, big or small, gets us one step closer to putting another kid on TV for grandma who lives out of state, for viewing parties in Texas, and our troops in the Middle East, or everywhere, all who want to watch our teams and their players play. To help us, simply go to our website at indianasrn.org and hit the donate button. It's just that easy. Thank you for your support.
Been a couple broadcasts where we've had shout outs from people all over the country, other countries, so we're able to get Indiana SRN all over.
Well, that's the fun thing about the internet. You can you watch us wherever. Here's McMahon. Inside 20 minutes to play. Cathedral, this could they're in jeopardy of this being giving up a seventh goal to Guerin for what would be the third time this season, third time in the last week. Here's McMahon. Oh, the ball tripped her.
Wow. Great ball control, though.
She has room. She has room. Nice save by Phillips. McMahon still having possession, and so Quincy got her on the penalty kick, and then Kate got her back.
Well, and let's give a shout out to Quincy McMahon on that play. She falls down, gets up, controls the ball, still splits the defensive players, and almost gets a goal. But nice save there from Phillips.
Substitutions for both sides. First, for Cathedral, number 33, Maddie Hewer. Entering for Guerin Catholic, number 5, Lily Snyder. Number 10, Caitlin Freeze. And number 23, Alyssa Ferry.
The throw-in will be Abel. And the Irish defense will snuff it out momentarily. But Abel finds it again. Dribbles by Usher. Sends it back to Quinn. Now Jennings' turn. Sends it. High and off the back of the net.
I thought that went in. From over here, it looks like it went in.
Wow. That's a tricky one where it just drops in behind.
Mm-hmm.
That fooled us on a broadcast earlier in the year when Keith Myers was in your seat. And we were both all excited, and then the goalie everyone just turned around casually and walking around. The goalie goes behind the net, picks it up. Like, oh, man. Here's Freeze.
It's the joy of being a broadcaster. Sometimes, you think one thing happened when in reality something else did.
Ferry will send it around in front of Snyder, and that was Freeze who had a chance at it.
Ooh.
Jennings lost it. Ferry, nice move, but she's surrounded by Irish, and then a takedown.
That was like looked almost like a wrestling takedown. Wrapped her up, good form tackle. Wrong sport.
Yeah, a little Conor McGregor action.
There we go.
That's textbook. It was a textbook takedown.
Textbook takedown.
With 16 and a half to play. Here's Caroline Klein. Been very quiet in this game so far. And you can see those three defenders shadowing her. It's Quinn, Sawyer, and Hussey.
Oh, it's just like they have it layered out. If she gets by one, there's another one right there
and
to
here
pick
comes
her up.
this. We'll see what he does. That'll be definitely a foul on Guerin Catholic. Picking herself off the turf was Ella Maher. And it looks like Catherine Klein will do the honors for Cathedral.
See if they can get something going here, maybe lead them to their first goal of the game. It would be Guerin's 4th allowed for the whole season.
And Cathedral has scored in their last 2 matches. Trying to make it 3 straight. This one headed away. The battle will continue, and this one will roll harmlessly for a Labus goal kick.
Well, it doesn't really matter who Guerin has put in as far as a first or second team or reserves or starters. They've all played with the same intensity, and it's quite remarkable that even up 6-0 with only 15 minutes left, that control and that focus is still there. There's no lackadaisical attitude at all. They're just on all the time.
And they play, and this is what's interesting. The trick will be for Guerin to sustain this. Here's a shot. Nice save by Phillips. And speaking of staying on her game, Kate Phillips, after all of this, still look at this. Here you go, Drake. Watch.
She's still playing very well. Like we've mentioned a lot. 6-0, it doesn't look like the goalie is really doing their job, but when you factor in the sheer volume of shots and shots on goal, it's kind of impressive, actually.
Working across midfield, and once again, here come the Golden Eagles.
They just always find themselves with the ball. Guerin always has the ball, or they're very close to getting it.
This one hit the top of the net. So even at this juncture, Guerin, that one, they're still ever so close. And with 5 minutes to play between Noblesville and Carmel, the Miller has picked up a penalty kick goal, and Noblesville leads the Greyhounds 2-0.
Wow.
Which I'm sure will not wet the eyes of anyone in our audience that Carmel's down 2. Just reporting. Baker's dozen minutes to play.
Well, and if you're Carmel, that's regardless of how strong you are mentally, to let up your first, in your 13th, 14th game, and you finally let up goals and you're getting shut out, that's got to be tough to take on.
That was Laura Lackey trying to lead the attack for Cathedral, but Carmel, they got one of the best goalkeepers in the state. Now, there's 2 good ones in this one, but Erin Baker for Carmel has been fantastic. And then she gives up 2. There was last year, Carmel, similar scenario. The only goal they really gave up was in the state championship game, and that was their demise. It was the 1-0 loss in state, the only loss of the year for the Greyhounds. Now Snyder were not able to pounce on that one. She's still there, and here comes another whistle.
Trying to state her case, trying to point to her.
Caitlin Fries disagreed.
Riley Mayer was kind of knocked down there. One of the few breaks that Cathedral has gotten in this game. We'll see if they can make something happen with just 12 minutes left here in regulation.
Here's Usher. And then it finds Fries.
It was kind of a lazy pass, and Fries took full advantage of it.
Now Ferry battling through. She has room, but coming up from behind was Elle Lewis.
Ferry was ready to take on all 3 Cathedral players to try to get a shot at the goal.
Oh, Leffler takes a tumble, and this time the ref will call it against Maher.
Oh, wow.
So a little bit of contact between these 2 sides. 11 minutes, 18 seconds to play. Did you miss the game everyone's talking about, like this one? Or do you know somebody who missed this game? You could subscribe to our YouTube channel and never miss a game. Easy grab there. Again, with pre-game notifications, Indiana SRN, we are always in the game. Yeah, don't miss those.
These
girls are playing hard.
Gotta stay on it. Got to watch those games. A lot of good contact on the Indiana SRO channel.
This will be a yellow. That's Laura Lackey running through Claire Sawyer.
Substitutions for both sides.
Two yellows, a couple. Referee had to dust off his penalty book. So with 24 minutes to play, Gentry Gerhardt picked up a yellow, and then Lackey just picked up one.
A lot of
Sawyer picked herself up off the ground, and now Quinn will restart the play.
There's a lot of picking up in that sequence there.
No, 100%. Abel. He is hopscotching through that lane, trying to find space with the Cathedral midfielders dropping back on defense.
They're just spacing out everything so well, just trying to ice this game. They're probably still going to try to score. Wow, nice save from Phillips.
Yeah, she came up, and that almost just more saved the rebound opportunity for Guerin Catholic. Here's McGee winning the battle with Dousman. Dousman, one of the captains for Cathedral, scored 3 times this year. Just 2 captains for Cathedral. A lot of teams have multiple ones. Guerin Catholic has 4. Memorial had multiple captains, but Cathedral keeping it simple, and Dousman, the captain, got that foul. You can see the frustration on both of these two teams. It's been a physical game, and every time the referee's whistle blows, one player is like, come on.
Well, and you're just trying to wrap up the game, but at the same time you're trying to score. And it's tough, but you got to finish strong and try not to get too many fouls.
I'll try to keep you up to date whenever that Carmel-Noblesville game goes. Final, and nice break on the ball by Kate Phillips.
Well, she has been a renegade in this game, diving on everything, sacrificing herself. You got to give her a world of credit.
Yeah, you can see Cathedral's gonna have a pretty fine goalie coming up for the next couple of years.
Probably has a grass-stained uniform too.
15 shots on goal she's faced. Allowed 6 of them, but 1 was a penalty kick.
Mm-hmm.
So she's saved. She saved 10 of the shots she's faced tonight. This will be Lauren Caldwell, and it is a final between Carmel and Noblesville. The Millers, number 1 in the state, number 1 on the pitch this evening. They beat the Greyhounds 2-0, giving Carmel their first loss of the season, and Noblesville now 8-0. Carmel 12-1.
It is worth noting that and it might be because they had a 5-point lead, but regardless, Guerin has one goal this time as opposed to 5. So give Cathedral as well as Kate Phillips credit that they've limited Guerin to only 1 goal here. And as I said, I think some of that is because they had such a great lead, but still, it's worth praising.
Another final from Sectional 10. Zionsville beat Burbuff 2-0. That game's wrapping up. Zionsville, sneaky team. They've had a lot of draws this year. They've had 3 draws. They're now 5-3-3. 12th ranked team in the class. They'll be one of the contenders in Sectional 10. Although when these two teams met, when Zionsville met Guerin Catholic, first game of the year, Guerin got the better of the Eagles. 2-0.
That was a nice pass.
Freeze. Breaking on the ball was Lewis for Cathedral. Sent ahead. Easy pickings for Sawyer and Quinn. And that's just such a blessing to have if you have a soccer team, Guerin Catholic's case, where you have 2 senior center backs who are just so well familiar with each other. That just makes it tough.
You don't even have to worry about really the communication is still there, but it's so much easier. The fact that they know each other that well, they can read each other better, and it makes them even harder to stop.
Here's Leffler. In a battle with Maher, Ella. And then coming up from behind, Caroline Klein, the other senior captain, along with Dousman.
It's been a very physical second half.
Here's another card. I think. Couldn't see which number that was, but a second yellow card against Guerin, and she got sent off.
I mean, it's been much more physical in the second half than it was in the first half.
It's Ferry was the one sent to pick up her penny. And we said this in the opening, but the proximity of these two schools, a lot of these players have played against each other in club levels. They played against each other in middle school and even elementary school.
She was now in the game. Coming on for Guerin Catholic, number
the PA announcer
he's killing it.
He is doing such a great job.
But that there is Alex Susi.
Alex Susi into the game. That's fun to see, youngster.
Oh, you're up 6-0. Let's get some of the younger players a little bit of varsity action. It's going to pay off in the long run. Maybe one of them gets a goal. That'd be pretty cool.
Hopefully, if the one who gets the goal is the player that we have listed on our sheet, would be nice. But any varsity goals would be good.
That's right.
We want to thank you for joining us. This is our last regular season broadcast of Guerin Catholic girls soccer. We have a boys game coming up, the Gentlemen and Zionsville on October 1st. But it's been fun for having you alongside, and thank you very much for joining us. Golden Eagle TV, presented by Indiana SRN. I know for Drake and myself, producer Jerry Collins, we're very happy to have you alongside. It wouldn't be possible without your eyeballs tuning in. Thanks for doing so. Here's Freeze. Oh, this one will be swept towards the cameraman. And still in play. Speliacy was looking for Lackey. Now as we come up on 3.5 to play, can Guerin get the 7th?
I know we've said this multiple times, but even up 6-0, I've just noticed that there's not even an ounce of let up. I mean, obviously from either team, but Guerin is up 6-0. They're playing like it's tied. There's just so much hustle and denial, and the defense has just played so well and controlled everything to the point where Cathedral has. I would like to see a graphic on the time of possession on Guerin's half of their field as opposed to Cathedral, because it has been just all Guerin. We've had the camera on their half of the field almost the whole game.
Here's McGee. He's trying to feed it ahead to Freeze. And now here's Caroline Klein. Cathedral looking for that first goal. Lackey will drop it back. Sent on. Headed high by Leffler. Popped high by Leffler. Still not out of the woods. This one sent to nobody. And Olivia Labus in no rush. She doesn't need to be.
That's right.
Wrapping up the year for in the Circle City Conference.
Substitution for Guerin Catholic. Coming on, number 24, Riley Beauregard.
That's a new player. Riley Beauregard. But Heritage Christian, they play tomorrow against Roncalli. And that takes care of Roncalli's next opponent. Covenant Christian's final opponent is against Guerin Catholic on Thursday. Bishop Chittard, their final game is Wednesday at Bloomington North. And then Burbuff, you learned about their most recent result. They are trailing / losing to Zionsville. No, they still are, but with inside 3 minutes to play, Brebeuf scored. So Zionsville leads 2-1 over the Braves of Brebeuf. Here's Freeze. Nice entry.
A lot
easy.
of physicality on that there.
Yeah, easy for Phillips.
2 minutes remaining in the contest. 2-1.
All right. Oh, that's the old school pacer blast by the PA announcer. He has been. Kudos to him. He's been crushing it. Here's McGee.
He's really been doing good on the PA.
Oh, for sure. Here's Leffler. Number 6. She has a goal in this match.
She's a nice move.
I believe that's Susie. Spelliacy. Klein. 70 seconds to play. Gets by Beauregard. Run down by Quinn. Spelliacy. Didn't have enough on it.
The shots that they have had, and this is no knock on Cathedral, but the shots that they have had that have been, worth talking about have kind of trickled to, over to Labus. So they haven't really had a whole lot of, torque behind them. So she really hasn't had to do a whole lot of protecting. It's been an easy day for Labus.
30 seconds to play, folks. Coming up next for Guerin Catholic, they head to Brebeuf on Wednesday. Then they're home for the last time against Covenant Christian. That's at 7 p.m. And then on the road for the final 2 games on Saturday, visiting St. Joseph up in South Bend and Penn in Mishawaka. And then come back to visit Fishers on Thursday, October 1st. That will also be our final regular season soccer broadcast on Indiana SRN when we host Guerin Catholic and Zionsville on that same day. Cathedral season is over. They finish the regular season campaign 3-6-3. Guerin Catholic rises to 7-1-1 with this 6-0 victory over the Fighting Irish of Cathedral. The goal scorers, Katie Koger in the 9th and the 12th, Caroline Quinn followed, then Evie Bastard, Cece Leffler. Quincy McMahon got her 11th goal of the year on a penalty kick with about 23 minutes to go in the second half. On behalf of Drake Wally, I'm Jonathan Mathis. Jerry Collins is our producer. And it's been a pleasure having you with us. We have a lot of games coming up for you. See you tomorrow for Guerin Catholic and Covenant Christian Volleyball at 7 p.m. On Thursday, Heritage Christian and Bishop Chatard Volleyball. Football, Covenant Christian and Heritage Christian on Friday at 7. 7:30 kickoff for Bloomington South and Southport. And then Saturday, Traders Point at Horizon Christian. So up next for Guerin Catholic, it will be Bishop Chatard on the road. And the number 6 Golden Eagles looking to make it hay in sectional 10, which is very challenging and very daunting, but looking forward to that action. So alongside Drake Wally, I'm Jonathan Mathis saying good night, everyone. On Golden Eagle TV, presented by Indiana SRN, Guerin Catholic the victors, 6-0 over Cathedral.